So first of all, before we get started and explain how to install the presets, thanks ever so much for buying the presets. It makes a really big difference to me, and I think you'll find them useful, but as I said in my video, that it's really important that you develop your own style, I think. So maybe use these as a baseline. Now, the things that these presets don't do, and that's probably worth mentioning first, is they don't add any local adjustments. So they don't add something like a graduated filter like this, because obviously I don't know where to put that. And they also don't impact crop, so they don't crop anything. In the basic settings here, they don't change white balance, tint or exposure. So what I recommend on your image is that you actually get the white balance, the exposure and the tint right before you then apply the preset. I think that's probably really important. I'll show you that as we're going through and applying these presets to different photos. So I've got a selection of photos here that I'm going to show you how to apply the presets. Okay, so let's start at the top. So the first one, they're named after where I first came up with this edit, really, and it's been iterated since then, but it seemed like a good naming convention. So Bosley Green, so that's a place called Bosley Cloud that I came up with that, and it was a particular shot which is this one here, which I've taken a huge amount of times, and I felt that this just needed to be really green, so I created Bosley Green, and if you apply Bosley Green you can see that it changes it to green. So it does a lot more than that. It changes the tint of the file. So if I apply it now to there, you can see all these settings have been changed, and you can see it changes the tone curve, it changes all the HSL settings to get that right, and it also does some split toning as well as also applying some vignette on the photo as well. So there's a number of things that applying that preset does to that photo. Now, I find that on shots like this, where you've got sort of soft sun coming into a silver birch or a woodland scene that's got a little bit of green to it, and you want to give that a little bit more oomph, and then this works better. It sort of blends all those tones together. So that's Bosley Green. Okay, the next one is Pharaoh's Summer. So we're going to go to this image now. I'll just check it. Yep, so that's the base image. I've just reset all the settings on it, and what I wanted to do with Pharaoh's Summer was I wanted to keep the greens. I don't often keep greens in my images, but in the Pharaohs I felt I needed to do that. So I wanted to keep those greens and then just darken down the sky and get rid of some of the blues, or change the hue of the blues in it. So that's Pharaoh's Summer. So if I just apply Pharaoh's Summer, you can see with one click that makes that shot so much better. And again, if you want to have a look what it does, then you go down and check the HSL, the tone curve, and the basic settings. They're the four things that I tend to change on all of these presets. Sometimes with the curve as well, I'll change the colour part of the curve, not just the standard part of the curve. Okay, on to the next one. So we need to go to the fern for this, because it is actually called fern, and it's good if you're shooting bluebells or detail on forest floors where you just got flat lighting and you just want to again just give it a little bit of something. So it doesn't do a huge amount, doesn't fern. So again, I'll just reset it, and if I apply fern, you can see it's just pulling out some of the details. It also, I developed it specifically for bluebells as well. It's probably one that you're not going to use as much, but it's there anyway. It was one of the later additions to it. Okay, the next one is really one of my favourite ones, called Helm Crag. So this is Helm Crag, and this is a shot, again I'll just reset. So this is a shot straight out of camera, and it's a good example of what I shoot a lot, which is like fairly stormy clouds, rocks in the foreground that I think just look amazing. Now, straight out of camera this looks quite good, but what you'll see is that Helm Crag just flattens down some of those highlights and just gets the tones of the rock a lot better. So if I just apply Helm Crag, you can just see that we've just got rid of the blues in the sky, and we're just getting the greens and the tones of the rock just to work so much better. So Helm Crag works really well for that. Actually, for this image as well, there's another one that I'll come to that works well. Helm's Crag also works for this one, because this has got stones in it. So if I apply Helm's Crag to this, you can again see it keeps the warmth of it, dulls down the sky a little bit, and it looks really good. Okay, next one's Herdwick Winter. So Herdwick Winter was when I took these Herdwick sheep here, and it was in the winter, so I called it Herdwick Winter. This is a good example of where it's a good idea to just get the exposure right first. So I've underexposed this. I tend to underexpose my winter scenes because I don't want to blow out highlights. So in this one I'm just going to increase the temperature and exposure so it's a little bit closer. You have to get it about right. And now I'm going to apply Herdwick Winter. So if I apply Herdwick Winter to that now, you can see that that's really pulled out. If I just zoom in, wait for my computer to update because it's a huge file. If I just zoom in there, you can see it's pulled out a lot of the detail in the trees there, and yeah, it's a really good way of using it on the snowy scenes. In fact, I've got another one here. This is another snowy scene. Again, I'll just get the exposure a little bit closer to what it should be. There we go. And then if I apply Herdwick Winter to that, you can see it makes such a big difference. I've overdone the exposure there. I can just pull that down afterwards. And again, you know, that's so much better with Herdwick Winter. So that is a great way of editing any snowy scenes that you might have. Okay, so then the next few, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just go through them on one photo. So this is a photo where I developed these for. I initially developed Lingmore Fell, and it's for rocks and sunlit rocks, and especially when you've got warmer sunlit rocks as well, and you've got a lot of shadow detail. So if I apply Lingmore Fell to this, you can see that it dulls everything down a little bit, but really makes it quite special. And again, Langdale Stone and Langdale Overcast are similar. Langdale Overcast just heightens up those shadow details, so it's great if you've got like a sunny day and you want to make it look more overcast. I should have called it Langdale Sunny, shouldn't I? But it tries to make it look a little bit more overcast by reducing the contrast. So that's those. I'm going to go on to Padley Soft now. So Padley Soft is to do with when I used to go around Padley Gorge a lot. This isn't Padley Gorge though. This is like some of the places in Padley Gorge. This is actually in the Lake District in Home Fell, but it's silver birches and greenery and rocks. And if I apply Padley Soft to this, you can see that it really brings out the details in the silver birch and the leaves here. So if I just zoom in, and one of the things that I would say with this, I've called it Padley Soft. I don't often change the sharpening. I do with Padley Soft actually like to sharpen it a little bit when you've got trees, silver birch trees like this, and so I've just increased the sharpening there, and you can see it really pulls out the detail in these trees. So try that when you're using Padley Soft. Always remember soft and sharp go together, or opposites. So that's a good one. I mean, this is a good example of an image though. You could try a lot of the ones on, like you know, Langdale Stone and Langdale Overcast give a very different look to this image because they are changing the green tones in image. So you know, I try all the presets and just click through them on your image, and suddenly you might find something that just works really well. Okay, that's that. The next one is Langdale Mist, so I'll go to the shot, which is this one. So this is the Langdale, the Rydal Lake, so it's Rydal Mist, not Langdale Mist. This is Rydal Mist in the Lake District, and this is Rydal water with the mist on it. It just looks fantastic. And again, this is one where we can just apply it straight away. So I've just put Rydal Mist on that, so I've clicked Rydal Mist, and you can see it basically brings up the shadow detail a lot in this and really crushes those blacks. But what you need to do on this one, because it's not changing the white balance, I need to increase that white balance. And as soon as I do that, you'll see that transforms that photo. So that's Rydal Mist. The next one is Shuttling Slow Brown. So if I just go to the shot that this works best with, and that it works quite well that with this dog portrait here that I was looking at before, because it just crushes the browns, crushes the greens. So again, you can see straight away it just really accentuates pebbles there in this shot. It reduces the highlights of her fur as well as the highlights in there. So Shuttling Slow Brown is good if you just want to get rid of all the greens in your image and just make it a brown image. I mean, if I applied it to this one here, you'll see that it doesn't look great because, you know, I don't want to get rid of all those greens, but quite often it does look really good that in an image. And then the final one is surprise light, and that is good for shots like this. This is surprise view, and I go there and shoot all the time, so I've created a particular preset for surprise view in the mist. So if I just go and do that, you can see that's surprise light, instantly looks fantastic. So that's just getting rid of some of the greens, making them brown, bringing up the exposure as well on it, and it's the only one surprise light that actually changes the exposure on the shot. All the others don't do that. Okay, the other thing I should mention is how you install them. So to install them, you go to the preset section here, and it has to be on Lightroom Classic CC or Lightroom CC. And you click this plus item here, and you go to import presets, and then you just find the preset folder, click on the preset, click import, and it will then import those presets into this folder here. Hopefully that will be fairly easy for you to do, and then you can just use them and apply them really easily. And obviously you can change all the settings once you've applied them, so if you think, oh well, actually that was too bright, I'm going to reduce the exposure, etc., you can alter them. Make sure this is just a starting point, and then you can do other things. Good luck. I hope you find them useful. And I should say, until next Sunday, bye. So, until next Sunday, bye.